For decades, a woman's value is measured by the roles she manages, her career, her children, her household. But when those primary chapters conclude, she often meets an unspoken societal assumption that her period of active contribution has come to an end. The retirement industry has a specific answer for this transition. It offers consumption. The brochures and planners emphasize a calendar packed with pleasant distractions, travel, hobbies, and social clubs, treating these as the ultimate reward for a life of work. However, motion is not the same as meaning. Many women find that after a full day of these activities, they return to a quiet house and a sense of emptiness that travel and social events cannot seem to touch. This data suggests the feeling is nearly universal. According to these findings, 73% of adults over 55 report that their retirement does not feel purposeful, even when they are active and socially engaged. This recurring sense of emptiness indicates that the industry isn't just missing a detail, it is optimized for the wrong outcome. It is attempting to solve a crisis of meaning with a solution built entirely on filling time. The industry's default model is the leisure drive. It's a retirement built entirely on external conditions, a body that cooperates, an available spouse, healthy savings, and a consistent social circle. It asks what a woman wants to do with her time, rather than asking what she wants to leave behind. This is where the industry's premise fails. As this comparison shows, there is a second path, the contribution drive. It recognizes that a woman's wisdom and experience are not possessions to be stored away, but resources meant to be deployed. The logic of the leisure drive is inherently fragile. If the body fails, the spouse dies, or the savings account thins, the entire architecture of that retirement disappears, leaving the woman with nothing to stand on. A retirement built on consumption is a house of cards. A retirement built on contribution creates an internal foundation that remains unshakable, regardless of how external circumstances change. Most 55-plus communities ignore these psychological nuances, lumping every woman into a single, active senior demographic that assumes she is simply happy to be entertained. This ignores the diversity of the reality. It overlooks the compliant woman following everyone else's plan, the rusher who stays busy to avoid the quiet, the independent sovereign with a lifetime of unshared wisdom, and the homebound woman the industry has simply written off. Regardless of how much they travel or how active they appear, each of these archetypes is navigating the same internal vacuum, a hunger to matter that a social calendar cannot satisfy. These women do not lack the capacity to build. They lack the infrastructure and the societal permission to take the wisdom they have accumulated and turn it into a legacy. Until the industry provides more than just pickleball courts, it will continue to offer motion as a substitute for purpose, and it will continue to leave women feeling invisible in the process. To see how a legacy is built when all external conditions vanish, we look at the experience of Tarochione. Her story serves as a stark proof of concept for the contribution drive. At retirement age, Kathy's husband died, and their savings were largely depleted by medical costs. The leisure drive retirement she might have planned was dismantled before it could even begin. Her physical conditions were equally severe. At 79, she manages congestive heart failure and COPD, remaining tethered to an oxygen machine 24 hours a day, confined to a recliner in her home. By the standards of the traditional retirement industry, her productive life was over. She was expected to sit in the silence, wait for medical monitoring, and accept that her contribution to the world had ended. But loss and physical limitation do not end a woman's story. For Kathy, they acted as a crucible, burning away the distractions to reveal a version of herself that was ready to build. From her recliner, while on oxygen, Kathy built a legacy-focused technology company and developed 40 proprietary mental strength techniques. She did not need to be mobile to be a founder. She was using a psychological mechanism common to almost every woman, the drive to turn personal pain into a solution for others. It's what women have done for decades within their families and careers. This creative drive operates independently of the body. As the diagram shows, even as the physical shell fragments or declines, the mind's ability to create and contribute can actually grow stronger. This wasn't an act of rare heroism. It was the universal contribution drive finally being given the priority it deserves, unburdened by the daily obligations of middle age. Kathy's work proves that a woman's physical condition is never the true limitation. The only actual barrier is a lack of infrastructure designed to support her in the act of creation. Conscious retirement represents a specific shift in focus, a decision to use one's final chapter as a building phase rather than a consumption phase. Looking back at these 8 women, the goal isn't to change who they are. It's to take their existing traits, the rusher's energy, the sovereign's independence, the homebound woman's reflection, and aim them at building a legacy. This requires the golden method, a system of mental infrastructure designed to build a woman up and activate her purpose, rather than calming her down and managing her decline. This operating system provides the structure to turn years of unrecorded experience into recognized value, moving a woman from the background of her home to an indispensable role in her community. Conscious retirement doesn't create the opportunity for a woman to matter. It simply removes the final excuses for her to stop. Every year, decades of relational wisdom, survival tactics, and professional expertise simply vanish when they aren't recorded. That knowledge is being lost to silence. But when we bridge that gap, we create a roadmap. We connect those isolated points of experience into a permanent network of wisdom that the next generation desperately needs. This is your permission slip. It is the invitation to stop waiting to be served and start building what only you can build. The oxygen tank, the empty calendar, and the quiet house are not waiting rooms. They are studios for the most important work you have ever done. A woman who spent her whole life building a world for everyone else finally deserves the tools to build a legacy that belongs entirely to her.